Namaste to all present here. I request President Rotarian Reggie Rose to call up and commence the program.
Rotary Club of Roypeta, Margdarshi 4, Interactors and Vocational Speaker Meeting, call to order.
Thank you, sir. We start our program with an auspicious note. Here, praise song by our interactor, Tanya.
Naveen?
लंबोदरा शिव गौरी सुधा लंबोदरा शिव गौरी सुधा गणाधिपा जय गजानना गणाधिपा जय गजानना लंबोदरा शिव गौरी सुधा बालचंद्रा जय गज कर्णेश्वरा बालचंद्रा जय गज कर्णेश्वरा विघ्नेश्वरा मां पाहि प्रभु विघ्नेश्वरा मां पाहि प्रभु लंबोदरा शिव गौरी सुधा.
I request Rotarian Reggie Rose to give the welcome address.
Thank you, Madhavi ma'am. A warm welcome to all of you, especially to our guest speaker, Ms. Anu Singh, along with the school and management staff of CSDAV, and our guest from NIFT, our ANITs, and all other Rotarians and ANITs who are joining from other clubs. A warm welcome to all of you. I stand in front of you, rather sit in front of you, more as a parent of a 10th standard girl, grappling on the new opportunities that are available in front of us. I mean, the kind of careers that we had are far, far different from what is being on the offer in the current generation. And I have hardly any clue on the new subjects or the new career options that are available. That's where we thought, let's bring in the real experts, the younger folks who know what today's careers are all about. And that's where we have Ms. Anu Singh, who's graciously accepted our kind invite. Thank you, Anu, for joining us and for enlightening our children. Margdarshi is a series of monthly programs where we do offbeat career opportunities, especially for our younger leaders of tomorrow. Till now, we have had sessions on armed forces. Last month, we had a session on hospitality and hotel industry opportunities. This month, it's on fashion technology. Next month, we are planning on emerging technologies. And the month after that, we are planning on performing arts. So these are the kind of lineups that we have, all offbeat career opportunities. Won't take a lot of time. Let's look forward to hearing from Ms. Anu. Over to you, Madhavi ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Famous fashion designer John Galliano said, "The joy of dressing is an art." Good morning, all. Who doesn't love admiration? Who doesn't like praises? When somebody says, "You have an amazing style," we feel very happy. If we look good, we feel cheerful. So, to make us look beautiful, handsome, we have fashion designers, technologists who help us in transforming ourselves from an ordinary Cinderella to a princess or Tamanna, and an ordinary looking young man to a handsome Salman Khan or our own Tala with Ajit. So here we have an overview of fashion industry, which will be given by Ms. Anu Singh and inspire us to become fashion designers. I call upon Kritika, interactor Kritika, to introduce the speaker of the day, Ms. Anu Singh.
Can I start, ma'am?
Yeah, you can.
Namaste to an all present here. I take great pleasure in introducing the speaker of the day, Anu Singh, who is a creative, versatile leather designer. She being an enthusiastic, self-motivated person who loves to take up new challenges and skills to cope up with the constantly developing and challenging fashion industry. Miss Anu Singh hails from Singara, Chennai, continued her schooling in Chennai. She flagged out with a distinction both in her 10th and 12th standard from DAV Gopalapuram. Took to her passion, graduated with distinction in Bachelor of Design, Leather Designing from NIFT. She carried on with her professional skills, both in the field of soft skill and technical skills that focused on surface development techniques on leather, leather embossing and carving, batik, tie and dye, weaving and braiding. Supported with soft skills, Corel Draw, Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, CAD and photography. She gained experience by undertaking graduation, project and internship at KH Exports, India Private Limited, Chennai, and training at various other renowned organizations. As to Ice on Cake, here comes her achievements. One beauty pageant, Queen of Madras 2018, May Princess 2017, Face of Chennai 2016. Received first place in leather boots designing competition CLE. Best Graduation Project Award in Leather Department NIFT Chennai 2019. Most Innovative Project Award in Leather Department NIFT Chennai 2019. But not the least, much more to add in the future. Passionate to her job, she has the ability to lead and be an effective member of a team with excellent communication skills. She has a flair of colors, texture, and patterns which groomed her ability to critique work and accept feedback from experts. In turn, making her acquire strong design, development skills, and concepts. I heartily welcome you, ma'am, on behalf of our Intra Club to share your experience and guide us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. President of Rotary Club of, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, perfect.
Yes,
Joes, Principal and Teachers of Chhatrapati DAV School, Interact President Naveen Raju, Secretary Mitali, Director Career Counseling Aishwarya, Rotarians, ANS, Retractors, and my dear friends from DAV and NIFT. Once again, a very good morning to you all. I'm Anu Singh, a leather designer specializing in handbags and footwear from NIFT Chennai, and currently I'm pursuing my leather designing as a designer and a product developer for Frog Burberry at an export house. It's called KH Exports. It's my proud privilege to be a part of today's session and talk about the glamorous and creative questions for you. I want you to understand them and answer it in your mind. So, 1 second. Are you someone who loves to stay updated with the latest fashion trends?
You can unmute yourself and answer her.
Introspect yourself.
Yes.
So I want you to understand and answer it in your mind. Do you think you have an eye for style and making yourself and others look good? Most importantly, do you have a flair for creativity and innovation? A career in fashion might be the right path for you to explore. So before I move on to giving you the career opportunities you have in this field, it's important for first to understand what is this industry. It refers to a distinctive style in which a person dresses. So what is style? For your information, style is a manner or way in which a person dresses. It's defined by the principles. Like you have different styles of denims. You have a straight cut, you have a boot cut. There are
Anu, sorry to interrupt.
yes, sir.
There is a lag in your network connectivity. Maybe you want to switch off your video so that your voice can be heard.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, hello.
Is it better?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Yes, ma'am.
It's better now. Can you hear me, Miss Anu? Hello.
Audible?
Yeah, audible, audible.
Okay, ma'am. So moving on with the presentation. Yes, spring summer, which starts in January until June. You have fall winter, which is another main season, starts from July to December. And then you also have the newly coming up.
Oh, I think the voice is breaking. Hello. I think
Yes,
your
ma'am.
voice is breaking. Is it clear, children, to all of you?
Sometimes it's breaking.
It's breaking, ma'am.
Sometimes it's breaking.
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah,
Breaking, ma'am.
yeah, break. I think there's a problem with the internet.
Ma'am, I think someone else should do the screen sharing, ma'am. Then it will be proper, ma'am.
Miss Anu?
Anu, can you hear us?
I think she's managing something.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably the bandwidth,
Yeah,
of her place.
her bandwidth
is
may be less.
Yeah, there may be less. Maybe she'll join again.
Yeah, maybe she'll join again. Welcome, Vasanthi, ma'am. In fact, Ms. Vasanthi Rangarajan is also there on the call, Bharti, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Our teachers, many of them have attended your sessions and they're very, very happy with it.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome to our Interact Club program, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma. It's been a pleasure.
Incidentally, Anu is the Annette in their club.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
thank you.
Welcome back, Anu.
Am I audible now, sir?
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so should we, I think we'll get back to the presentation. Sorry for the inconvenience, everybody. I think it's all sorted now, so we can proceed with the presentation. Okay, so I was talking about the important seasons, which is required for every designer, every budding designer to know. So we have spring, summer, fall, winter, resort, and we have the pre-fall. Okay, so before we talk about fashion, it is first very important to recognize someone who pioneered the entire concept of designing in the fashion industry, and that would be Charles Frederick Worth. In the 19th century, he is also called as the father of haute couture, which means high fashion. And he also was the first one to give a label to the garments that he had designed. So that's why he's been given the much needed recognition and the respect for that. Okay, so types of fashion. For a designer, it's very important for you to know where you have a scope, where you can provide your creativity and in which field you can do it, because the fashion industry it's got vast opportunities for everybody. So this will in turn help you to understand where you can utilize your talent and which career you can opt for. So first is haute couture or high fashion, specializes in creating exclusive custom fitted clothing or even footwear or bags as per your individual customers. Then you have pret-a-porter, also known as ready to wear, which focuses on apparel for the masses. But at the same time, there is the importance is given to the clients, and there's a little bit more emphasis on the cut, material, presentation, size of the wearer. They're comparatively limited in number as how they are produced as compared to mass market. Now, mass market is meant for everybody. It's sold in the open market and meant for a larger size of the population. Here are a few examples, like for Gucci would be a perfect example for haute couture. They believe in tailor-made dressing as per the customer's needs. Then Masaba, as you all know, she has been doing great in the Bollywood, and now she has reduced her the outfits that she's selling. She's reduced it, tried to broaden her market, but she would be a right example for ready to wear, because her garments are priced from 9,000 to 25,000, which makes her a high fashion designer. And last, we have the mass market. A great example would be H&M. It's like a shop where everyone belonging to every social status can buy something, and you say that you can buy good stuff at a good rate. That would be H&M, if I had to say. Okay, so before you move on to how the entire industry works, it's important for all of you who have joined us today to know that designing is not just about sketching your ideas or stitching the garment and putting it on the models, beautiful models, and making them walk the runway. It's not about that. It's so much more to it. It involves days of sleepless nights, a combined effort of a group of people working for you, and most importantly, a lot of hard work, which goes into every garment that goes on the runway. So here is a quick understanding of the design process. I'll just read it out and elaborate it further. You have research, you have the mood boards, you have the inspiration, the theme, you have a client whom you're designing the outfit or the product for, you have sketches, illustrations, then you have material sourcing, you have a mock-up or a test fit, you have the actualization or fabrication of the product, you have costing, presenting the entire concept and the product to a board of members who will approve it. And last but not the least, you have the production, which will ultimately go to the end consumers. Okay, so first is research compilations of the trend, market, and client. Every designer needs to do a proper study of the client requirements, a proper study of the ongoing trends, so that you're not called a designer who is dealing with outdated trends. And then also a good study of the market, because every time with the advancement in technological developments, you need to be updated with that, and you need to incorporate that in your designing as well. So with all this research, this would make a good background for you to design your collection based on this. This is inspiration and theme. Again, a very important process of your designing. Now, inspiration and theme is nothing but something which gives you a direction while you're designing, because it's easy for everybody to design a garment, say a black dress, a little black dress. But if you give theme and inspiration, then it gives you a sense of direction it helps every designer to make it very personal to you, because every two designers or every two individual thinks in a different way. The way I perceive a certain thing, or the way what I understand by looking at something, may be very different from the way someone else looks at the same thing. So here is an example where a designer has taken an inspiration from a butterfly and incorporated the same elements into the garment. So this would be taking direct inspiration from the idea that they have, from the concept that they thought. You also have few collections wherein the designer, the inspiration is hidden. It's not very obvious, not very on your face. The other one is the very famous Amit Agarwal's collection, which I think is been the talk of the town for a very long time now. Now this collection is, now this particular image is his illustration inspired by the futuristic biomimicry. So how he's creatively made this concept is what every designer needs to understand and incorporate the same. Then you have presentation boards. Boards are basically, when you look at it, you should get an instant idea about what the designer is trying to do or what is going on in his mind. So you represent that, all your concepts, all your ideas in terms of a board. So we have a lot of boards. We can make a board for everything, for people to understand better, because this is what the designer shows to their clients. You have a color board, that's the first one. Then you have a client board, which has every detail about the client, which will help you in designing. For example, here is a picture of a client board of Shrishmita as the client. It can be an individual client. It can also be a group of clients where you're dealing, your target audience is larger. That way, you can have your products designed for a wide number, a larger group, and not just specific to one individual. So all her likes, her dislikes, her occasion, her budget, everything is incorporated and included in this client board. Then you have a theme, your inspiration, like I just mentioned in the previous slide. That would be your theme board. Looking at this picture saying theme, it gives you an instant idea that someone, the designer, is thinking about making a bohemian collection this time. So this is what it talks about. And last but not the least, logic will get you from point A to point B, but only imagination and your creativity is going to take you further. So this is a very important step in your designing process. Moving on to the next, illustrations. Now here, I want you all to carefully look at every illustration which has been added in this slide. Now the first one is a very detailed, elaborate sketch that the designer has done. The second one is a rough sketch which the designer has tried to communicate his idea. And the last one is a moderately elaborate sketch which the designer has tried to express his ideas through. Now, illustration, I want you all to understand that there is no set defined rule for designing. Designing and creativity is very personal. What you feel from within is what you should project in paper or express through your words. So illustrations, as I would like to call it, is the art of communicating your ideas. It is basically, it can be rough, it can be elaborate like the first one I spoke about, but it should be able to communicate your ideas in an effective way to the client or to the person who's going to be viewing your collection. Then you have the technical details. Technical details are basically important information which basically helps you to transform that sketch into an actual product. So there's a lot of information which goes into the technical details, like your measurements, what is going to be the length of the outfit, what is the size of your client, and the same has to be incorporated. So it's the technical details which is required to have an accurate measurement of the product so that it fits the client well, because the main purpose is to meet the requirements of your client, to make it for the client, and it should fit them to the tip, to the T. So that is the technical details. Then you have material and trim sourcing. It is again a very important process, because here only a designer knows what is going on in his mind. And when that designer goes to the market, there's so many opportunities, there's so many options you have in the market. So it is important for you to pick the right material, to pick the right trim, because that's how you will be, sometimes what you think in your mind, you're not able to convert the same or not have the product in the same way. That is not the sign of a good designer. Only a good designer is able to make the same outfit which he has sketched. That is how every designer should work. And that is what we're taught in our designing course as well. So this is where you first source your main material, which is either a fabric or a leather if you're a leather designer, or it's your material, say any jewelry material like gold, silver, seeing its purity based on the jewelry you're making and all of that. Then you have the test mock-up. Now fabric, we're all aware that it requires, it's not merely putting together fabrics. It requires a detailed patterning process based on the measurements which you have written down in your technical sheet. And then you convert those patterns, those 2D flat patterns into 3D form and put it on the bodice. Now this mannequin you see is called a bodice in the fashion industry. And this is sometimes you're not able to try out outfits in your trying process on the client directly itself. So this, you have a dummy so that you can test it whenever you have a doubt and get back to it. So on towards your left-hand side, you have the test fits and the mock-ups that has been used for the fashion designers. And on the right side is a mock-up for handbags, because handbags, if it's a leather bag, it's very difficult for you to stitch it and then see how it looks and then take it out, because once you make even one small hole on a leather, can and picking it out, it will leave a mark forever. So you need to be very careful with that. That is why it's always safer when you're making on a larger production base. It's important for you to have a mock-up, get it approved by your board members, and then proceed with its production. So this would be mock-up, my friends. Then you have the actualizing of the product. Now, after your entire idea generation, your illustrations, and then your mock-ups, your entire detailing which goes into it, your sourcing, it's important for you to put all this together and basically converting your idea on paper to product in hand. This is called the actualization process. This is the final step. There is no looking back. There's only going forward after this stage. Then you have costing. Again, we all know that costing is nothing but the cost of the making, which all the efforts of the pattern master, the designer, sourcing, everything which goes into the product, the cost of it, and then the markup, the profit margin which you're adding, plus the designer charges, because all the efforts the designer is putting in, be it inspiration, the entire hard work, research, which the designer is putting in, all comes into the markup category. And then you have the final price of the product. So again, this is the vast subject altogether. There's a strategy, proper strategy which goes for the pricing of every product, and big brands follow this. Big brands and even smaller brands follow this because it's important. It's important to understand your market, your customers, how much they're willing to pay, because if you're a high fashion brand and you're design oriented, you don't worry about the customers. All you care about is your inspiration and having a high price product like Sabyasachi, then you can have a high pricing because customers would want to buy your product because of the brand, the label that you've created. If you're a brand, say H&M, then customers are a little choosy. They want to go for something which is affordable because first they have not only been a competition for so many, they have also widened their market by reaching out to many people. So customers, brands like H&M are very customer oriented. They try to provide good quality products to their customers at an affordable price. So that is when it involves even better and advanced amount of strategy, because you have to beat your competition and yet you have to satisfy your customers. So this is the entire costing thing. But when you're learning, when you're designing, you only have to worry about the cost of making and the designer charges and the total price. When it's production, that's when you have to worry about the strategy. This would be costing. And the last and final and most important one would be production. Production, once all your stages have been approved as a designer, you have done your work, sourcing is done, you have actualized the entire product, that is when the production starts, when you give the instructions to the manufacturer about with proper details like the tech pack I mentioned earlier. Production starts, and then that's how it reaches to a wider range of consumers through retail. So guys, following the same process, I made my collection, and I would like to share that with you as well. Being a leather designer, I made a collection. Now this, with all the concepts I just explained, here is an inspiration, and my inspiration may be obvious to few and may not be obvious to many, but my inspiration is inspired. It's about mermaid glitter, and I have drawn inspiration from a seashell. That's how I've given that scallop shape on top, and the detailing and the entire additions to make it, the embellishments which I've added goes along with the entire inspiration. So this is one collection I made. The second one is inspired by braided roots. Braided roots inspiring that the braided roots, it's literal. The braiding that I've used in the center, the detailing is the weaving. Braided roots. Roots talking about the combination of feminism and then depicting the sculptural concepts is what this collection is all about. It involves a lot of techniques because leather at the same time is a very creative field. It does not provide you narrow opportunities, but I think with the technological advancements, we have a lot of machines which help us do detailing on the leather, which is why the leather handbag industry, the leather industry is called luxury, because of the efforts that go into this. And last, this collection is very close to my heart. It's inspired by the essence, the beauty, what every Tamilian woman is proud of. Here, I've tried to incorporate the Madras check, the Mallipu, and the Kunjalam, which is in the starting of in the front side of the bag. So this is the collection which I was talking about. Now all that you have seen in the previous slides was the process. Now, if you're interested that how do I get a part or be a part of this industry, then I think now is when you will be getting a lot of information. Fashion designing, my friends, is not the only option in this field. If you have the creativity, if you have style, if you have originality and aesthetic sensibilities, you can make a big career in this fashion industry. So the first one would be fashion designing. Fashion designing is all about understanding the needs of your client and creating attractive garment, accessories, footwear based on the fashion and the market conditions. A successful designer, it's very important for a designer to be unique, to be creative, to be an effective communicator, and to have a flair of designing and sketching. Now, there are categories in this field. You have apparel design, which is nothing but the garment designing. You have textile, so they focus on making a variety of prints which the designers use in turn. Now, leather designing is the creative process of leather used in the field of fashion goods, that's apparel. You have lifestyle accessories, handbags, wallets, bags, etc. And you have footwear. And then you also have jewelry designing. Jewelry designing is all about designing exquisite pieces like necklaces, chokers, rings, bangle, every girl's dream. By understanding the current trend and working conditions to the customer's tastes and preferences. Now, being a designer, by undergoing by taking a course in the industry, you get opportunities like you can either work under a famous fashion designer, you can create your own label, or you can work in an export house, manufacturing unit, showroom, boutiques, and studio. Second option would be in the field of fashion technology. It requires a huge amount of technological skills and a creative mind at the same time. So it's suitable for people, especially who have opted for the science background. Now here you get to work with, now here the technologist's work begins after the designer has finished the designing. The technologist works on development of the garment, their production, and the quality management, which is again a very important aspect to give a quality product to your end consumers. They also ensure that the clothing is made in a most cost-effective and efficient method while ensuring that the quality standards have been maintained. Here, you can also be a part of the garment manufacturing unit. You can be a part of the fashion house, the TV production unit. You can also give consultation to big designers, and also if you become experienced fashion technologist, you can also join many fashion institutes as a faculty member. Next would be fashion business management. I won't touch upon this in detail because this option is available to you only once you finish with your undergraduation, and this is for your post-graduation level. So fashion management, as the name suggests, fashion business management, business is very important to ultimately to market your product to the consumers. So this gives you in-depth information to ultimately know everything, the B of business, and to ultimately market your products to the consumers effectively and efficiently by creating a good brand image. That would be fashion business management. You also have luxury brand management. Again, this is an option that you can opt for once you're done with your undergraduation degree, and this is for the post-graduation level. This is purely applicable, as the name suggests, for luxury brands like Chanel, Michael Kors Girls, Dior, every girl's dream, and boys' dream as well. So management of brands is very important when they become high fashion, because you have a lot of things which goes into your pricing, your production, and so much more. So you need someone to manage the entire process and to make it easier for you to reach out to the customers, which is why brand management in the luxury goods is very important. Then you can either be image consulting or a personal stylist. Now, image consultants are the stylists who work with individuals to advise on their personal style and clothing. Now, sometimes it can also be beyond clothing and accessories, where you guide people about their body posture, etiquettes, body shapes, skin complexion, and so much more. Just like how the celebrity stylists do. It's so much more than fashion. It's more about how you're presenting yourself, because in the end of the day, in the fashion industry, you need to have a good personality, because people are going to look at you and look up to you only if you have a personality to help people to look up to you. That's very important. And yes, of course, in order to consult people, you yourself have to be of that level to be able to consult the others. Now here you can either work with public or private companies, or you can work with celebrities. There's a huge variety of options you have in this as well. Then you can either be a fashion blogger. This is the current thing these days. I'm sure all the youngsters who have joined us today will agree to it. Fashion bloggers showcase their outfits, accessories, and styles through blogs, Instagram posts, YouTube videos, etc. They also share their knowledge about fashion and advice to the viewers and how you can dress up or look good in certain clothes. Now, they also write about new fashion trends and also endorse new products and review them. They also have a wide amount of career opportunities in the fashion industry. You can either write and express your views on fashion through blogs, or set up your own blog and become an influencer eventually. You can also collaborate with top brands and become a paid partner by promoting all their projects, or you can also become, I've already mentioned, you can also become an influencer in the social media, because social media is a very powerful tool for you to ultimately communicate or get closer to your consumers. You also can be a fashion photographer. For all of you who love photography, or you have an eye for images or things, you can opt for fashion photography. Now, photographers are the most prized possession of the fashion industry, because they have to showcase clothing, accessories, jewelries, and other items in a very appealing way through their great photography skills. Their role is to capture the essence of clothing, and so that people get attracted towards buying it. The options, the career opportunities which you have being a fashion photographer are also immense. You can either get associated with fashion magazines like the big names like Vogue, Femina, or you can also be a part of fashion houses like Manish Malhotra, Sabyasachi, Ritu Kumar, etc. Or even fashion designers have started hiring fashion photographers to capture the models on their runway with wearing the latest collection. Fashion photographers also, it's a proven fact, and we all have been seeing it on TV. They also get a big opportunity to be a part of the Bollywood and Hollywood by capturing celebrities and promoting them as well through their work. So these are few options that I've listed, but this image would be a right depiction of all the careers you have. So I will just give you a minute to go through this. Basically, all the processes that I've just discussed about the designing, you can make a career out of every process. You can either be an illustrator, you can be a pattern maker, you can be someone who is into production, and there is so much more. So this is how it is rightly said that this fashion industry is huge. And to make your mark in this huge and glamorous and competitive industry, it's very important to be unique, to be yourself, and to not copy anything else. Back in school, I have been there, I have done that. We have referred to Google and done our assignments, but then in the real world, in the real college world, you got to be unique, because Pinterest or Google is not going to help you in any way. You can make your, out of so many others who are doing the course with you, you can make your mark only if you're different, only if you have a different vision, and only if you have a unique style of presenting your ideas. Okay, so this is all the fancy things about the fashion industry. Now, if you're keen as to how you can be a part of this industry, then this would be a perfect slide for you to understand that better. Eligibility for the design courses, because only if you have a design course will you be able to easily become a part of the fashion industry, because every job that I just mentioned, every profession that I mentioned or you saw in the previous slide requires equal amount of skill and knowledge about the work that will be given. So the basic eligible criteria for a design course offered at UG and PG are as mentioned. For UG, every UG course is a 4-year course, and candidates can secure admission in this design course if you've completed your 12th from a recognized board with passing marks. So highlighting that point, just passing marks is merely enough to get to be a part of the fashion industry, but you need to have not passing but immense knowledge in the field of creativity to be a part of this industry. Also, aspirants from any stream, be it science, commerce, arts, can be eligible to be a part of this UG design course. And for post-graduation, if you're interested to take it further and learn more in this field, it's a 2-year course, and you can secure admission in PG course by completing your graduation from a recognized college or institute. It is also important that most colleges only prefer people who have a degree and who have a degree in the design field itself, because it's easier for them comparatively to understand in the master level as well. So an important note also for everybody who is interested, the eligibility criteria mentioned can vary based on the course or the college you have opted for. And there's also an admission process in few colleges where you need to clear the common aptitude entrance test in few colleges to be a part of it. NIFT, NID, and so many other prestigious colleges do have one. Not to worry, it's comparatively easier. Let me just quickly explain it to you. It's called, the aptitude test is called CAT, C-A-T, meaning Creative Aptitude Test, which involves a paper which only demands for your creativity to be poured onto the sheet. Then you have the general aptitude test, nothing more than your general knowledge, which I'm sure back in your school you're gaining on a daily basis. And then you have a situational test wherein you're given a problem and you've been and you have to creatively find a solution to it, which is the requirement and which what every designer should be working towards. And last but not the least, you have an interview. This is not necessary. Some of the colleges may ignore this step, but then for the colleges which do, you need to be very presentable, and you need to be an effective communicator to do well in your interviews, your personal interviews. Now, from all that I've learned, I think this would be a summary slide wherein these are the skills that you require to succeed in the fashion industry. It's not much, it's not very difficult at the same time. It's only 5 points, which is very important. And if you have these, I think you can really succeed in the industry. You need to have an attention and eye for details. Being a designer, you need to eye for details is very crucial, because detailing is what sets us apart from people who are only manufacturers or who are just making garments. We are designers. We've been given that designation because we put in our efforts, we do our research, we get inspired from something, and that's how we make a collection. So eye of detail there is very important. You need to have good business knowledge. You need to be aware of the cost of making, your labor, your buyers. You need to, at the same time, have a knowledge about the current ongoing trends, and also the current, the market, the customers' buying potentials, and all of that. So basically, in short, you need to have a good business sense to be able to be a good designer in the future. Also, you need to have good communication skills, because if you're able to effectively communicate your ideas to the client, only then the client would buy it and would be willing to invest in your concept. So that's very important. Creativity, like I mentioned in the beginning of my slide, I'm mentioning it again. Creativity is the most important factor to join the fashion industry. I think this one point is what differentiates fashion designing, this entire field, from the other fields, maybe be it doctor, be it engineering, and so much more. Creativity is something which is very personal, which is very unique. No one can teach you to be creative. Of course, you can join courses to develop your creativity, but you cannot get creativity from somewhere. So that's very important. You need to be creative from within to be able to express the same on your paper and represent the same to people who are buying your products. Last, you need, with the technological advancements happening in both in the fashion industry and also outside, it's very important for us as individuals and us as aspirants to keep ourselves updated and have existing skills about softwares like CorelDRAW, Photoshop, Illustrator, and even Microsoft. Even that is also important for a designer to know. My friends, create your own style. Let it be unique for yourself and yet identifiable for the others. This is, again, a summary of what I have been mentioning in my previous slide. Your uniqueness is what is going to take you forward or keep your progress stagnant. So you need to work towards that. And the only way you can make your mark in this industry is by effectively communicating yourself and by being you, by being unique. I have a video which I would like to share with you all. that, my friends, was the beautiful work
Beautiful.
of Sabyasachi Mukherjee. And get
Yes, who's that? Yeah. Yes, Anu, please unmute yourself. Miss Anu, please
ma'am,
unmute. Yeah.
am I audible
Yeah.
now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I had to mute all this.
So the video we just saw is about Sabyasachi Mukherjee's great work, which he did for Priyanka Chopra's wedding. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Sabyasachi is from NIFT Kolkata, and he started with minimum resources, and he had only 3 people as a part of his workforce. But most importantly, he had a dream to make his mark in this competitive field of fashion industry. If he could make it big with his creativity and eye for fashion and details, I think you can too if you have the interest in this field. So this is the end of my presentation. I hope.
Wonderful. Very inspiring.
Thank you so much. So this is all about this is not everything about the industry, but I'm sure if you have any doubts regarding the same, I would love to answer them for you. And most importantly, everyone who was viewing the presentation today, I want to just tell you that there is nothing more beautiful than combining your passion with your profession. If you have the interest in this field, then I think it is very important for you to take it forward with the permission of your parents, of course. They may, if they are not in favor of this field, then they will be if you prove it to them that you have the potential and you can make your mark in this field, just like how so many big labels have done. So don't stop dreaming, not just fashion industry. You can pursue anything you want, but don't stop dreaming until you, I think that can stop only if you've given your 100%. And I would like to also share that back in school, I did well. I mean, I did well in my 12th. I did comparatively well in college, got a gold. I am a gold medalist. But at the same time, I haven't stopped dreaming. That isn't the end of my journey. I've also decided that I will present myself and represent myself as an example of beauty with strength and knowledge this year at Femina Miss India.
Wow.
I will be
All the best.
Thank you so much. So so this is just an example that I want to tell all of you who is watching me today, that don't stop dreaming. You can be anything. You can even be the president if you put in your hard work. So don't stop dreaming, and I hope you pursue what you love in your life and make the most out of that. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Thank you.
Miss Anu, I just had. Do you have any of your creations with you? Can you share the pictures of?
Yes, ma'am. It was
your
already
creations.
Yes, it was already a part of the slide. I'll just show it to you again.
Yeah.
So this collection of mine is what got me the gold medal.
Oh yeah! Wow.
This one is inspired by seashells. This is inspired by the roots, the nature.
Okay.
With the flowers and the braiding inspired by the trees, how the trees are turned in the roots and how it's all this. That's what gives it the strength. This is that, and the last is inspired by the Madras culture.
Bharti ma'am,
beautiful.
Bharti ma'am, was your question on where to buy it?
Definitely, I would love to know where to buy it.
Ma'am, you don't have to worry about that. I can make it for you personalized, and I can have it sent across.
Yeah, and I can very proudly sport it as a designer wear from Miss Anu. And I know very soon it's going to be a brand. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, lovely. Children, any questions you have?
Yes, I will be happy to answer if you have any questions.
Anybody has got any doubt?
Ma'am?
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Why don't we talk about sustainable fashion? I mean, there are fast fashion industry, the way the dark side of the fashion. Let's not talk about Indonesia or Myanmar where the rivers have been shut down. Let me talk about my area. I'm from Ludhiana, and Ludhiana is a hub for hosiery and the textile products. Ludhiana in Punjab. And there's a canal known as Buddha Nala, and that is being completely black. And we can see the dark pounds, the bubbling water inside that, and the foul smell it creates because of the because of the hosiery and the textile industry settled up nearby. And that canal is being sent into the Satluj river. It's been flown out, and it is being polluting the Satluj river too. Even in the let me talk about Karnataka, where the river a river, I'm sorry, but I don't remember the name of the river. That a river has been completely there's no more no any river over there because of the textile industry. And even in the Rajasthan, if I should talk about mica, the children are working. The child labor has been there for for taking mica from the soil. So why don't we talk about sustainable brands? Why don't we talk about sustainable fashion? Why don't we talk about slow fashion? When the wardrobes are filled with the clothes which we hardly even wear.
The upside
down.
Can I come by? Just, Mr. Sahil, can you just introduce yourself? From where are you from? Your question was very interesting.
Yes.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Sahil Gupta, and I'm from the first semester at NIFT Chennai.
Oh, very good. Okay. Most welcome. So his question is really, I know there are a lot of talks. Even in Tamil Nadu, we had a problem with rayon factory when it was closed due to pollution. So here today we are concentrating on the fashion technology. I think she'll be able to answer you better.
Yes.
Anu. Yeah. Today the topic was something else. So we can, no.
But I would love to answer his question. I think it's a very good question.
Yeah,
Sahil.
very good
Thank you for putting it forward.
Very good.
It's not that the eco-friendly or sustainable fashion is something new. It's already been happening, and there are a lot of brands which are already working towards that. Of course, it's not come to that level as compared to big brands who are into the glamour part of it. It hasn't come to that level, which is why most of the consumers are not aware of it. So I think being a good citizen and someone who can, it is our responsibility to get this forward as individuals, because designers, of course, they are in the showbiz and they're doing it for making money at the end of the day, it's all about making money and reaching out to consumers. But being a citizen, I think it's great that you've identified this in your state. So that's great. If it would be great if you have. Do you have an interest in this fashion field?
Yeah, he's studying NIFT, no?
Yes. Sorry, I missed that. So I think it would be great. It would be great if you yourself could take it forward, because in your upcoming years, you'll also have something called as a cluster project, where you will get to you can go to any part of the country and you can put forward a point and present it to the people who are actually responsible for providing and uplifting these small clusters who are working towards that. So you can do that and promote the same. But at the same time, I do agree with you, there's not much hype that is given to slow fashion and even eco-friendly. But I think you being a designer, you can add more of the creativity to it, to the slow fashion and to the eco-friendly, because sometimes we as normal customers feel that it's not that appealing, which is why most of the consumers don't want to buy something which is sustainable. Yes, the thought behind it is great, but it's still not that presentable. It may not be something that you will want to wear at a big occasion, maybe at a party. So if you as a designer can creatively put in your concepts and make it fashionable at the same time, I think that should be your goal as an individual, and you should work towards that. But again, great question. And
you completely changed my point of perspective regarding this. That I'm asking you the question, but why don't I myself implement over that question?
Rather than waiting for people to do something, I think you can take it forward, because you have you're a young student, you're an aspirant who's going to eventually in the future make it big. So why not you just take it forward and create the awareness about the same in the industry?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sahil. But your question was really relevant to the students who are there in 9th and 10th standard students.
Yes.
They also should know that sustainability is really important, especially and preserving our ecosystem. That is the need of the hour. Thank you so much. Anybody else from the participants would like to put forward any question? I think yes,
ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm from NIFT Chennai as well, and I'm from the first year. Like, I'm from the foundation program. I had chosen textile design earlier, but then I shifted to fashion design. I wanted to know if I would work under a fashion designer, maybe instead of opening my own store or opening my own label. Will that hamper my creativity in the initial beginning years? Because I would be working according to his creativity, and I would be influenced by his designs. So will that hamper my knowledge? I would rather gain experience, agreed, but will it hamper my knowledge in some way or creativity?
Okay. Arushi, I feel I really have to share this. So when I wanted to be a part of NIFT, my first option was to be a fashion designer as well. But then looking at the opportunities I had being in Chennai, I thought leather could be my second alternative. And since there's so much of competition in this industry, I couldn't get my seat in fashion designing. That's why I opted for the next best, which is leather designing. But I always felt that my creativity and my designing would all be confined only to just handbags and footwear. But I was amazed eventually in my second, third year, all the courses have the same amount of the exposure that has been given from your faculties, and you also get the same amount of exposure from your industry. The only thing different is that you're specializing in a particular field. That's all. So like I said, since you're pursuing textile designing, right?
No, ma'am, I shifted from textile to fashion design. In the second round, there's a second round of counseling, if you know.
Yeah.
So I shifted from textile to fashion because I wanted fashion. So there was one seat left. So I shifted from textile to fashion.
Okay. So now you're saying if your question is if it will restrict your creativity?
No, if I would work under a designer in my later years. Firstly, if I would work under a designer, so I would be working according to his needs or applying his designs. So will that hamper my creativity?
My only answer to that would be it depends on your potential. If you have the potential to immediately start your own label after fashion designing, I think that's completely based on your creativity and your talent. You can make it, you need not be a NIFT graduate. You can do it from any other course. But if you have the potential, you can make it big, not just in the fashion industry, but also in individually. You don't need an industry to get bigger. You can do it you can do it yourself as well. So your potential is the only answer which I would like to give to your question. And also I feel that I would suggest that initially, immediately after finishing your graduation, it's not advisable to start your own label. And there's no restriction as such, but it's not advisable. It's always better to get some exposure, some experience from the designer who has made it so big in the field. So it's good to learn from them and then start your own label, because that way you will get a good understanding of the market. You will get a good knowledge, hands-on experience as to what your clients are. It'll be better if you assist somebody initially, maybe a big designer, maybe even a small designer, but at least get a hang of how it happens. Internships, your graduation projects will also give you an exposure, but joining as an assistant and getting paid is a different feeling altogether, is a different experience altogether. So I would suggest that don't worry, it's not going to harm, it's not going to stop your creativity, not going to it's not going to stop your growth. You will grow. What is important is what you do after you intern with somebody, a big designer. What you do from there is what is going to define you. So if you decide to be there and keep working with the designer, that shows you are stagnant with your growth. You don't want to grow further. But if you want to make it big, you can start your own. and I mean, have a big name as Arushi in the industry, and people will recognize you with it. You can do that.
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope it answers your question.
Yes, ma'am, it does. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I have a small question. I know it's probably it's very common, but do you have any prerequisite skills to be necessary to enter this industry? Like, suppose one of our students decides to take something in future, do you need some prerequisite skills? Like basic, for example, I would like to ask you whether tailoring, cutting, tailoring, all these things will be included in the course, or these are the prerequisite skills?
Ma'am, it's all a part of the course. You will be taught everything. That's why it's called the foundation. Your first year is called the foundation. You need not have an already existing knowledge about these things, maybe stitching or designing. You will be taught everything. But I feel that if right now, I think children, if they're keen, they can utilize this time, this period when they're sitting at home.
Lockdown,
They can, yes, they can. They've already got enough time to introspect, to understand what they want to pursue. So if they can, it's always better to have an existing knowledge about something, because it's easier for you to catch up that way. But being a DAV student, I understand that during school days, it's comparatively difficult to spend extra time on creative, the creative side and extra co-curricular activities, because education is the priority. That really helped me in my communication and being effectively communicating my concepts, and also in the general knowledge aspect of it. That helped me that way. But creativity was not great that level, because I couldn't go for coaching. I mean, I couldn't go for extra classes, be it drawing or coaching for NIFT. But yes, if what I didn't,
if it is there, it helps them.
If it's there, it's always helpful. But if it's not there, you don't have to worry about it either, because NIFT is there to take care of that. You just need to have you should be able to communicate and convey what you want to. Your thought process needs to be good. I think that learning can happen anywhere at any time.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else? Otherwise, I'll move on to the next
Yeah,
segment.
so this is Subbu here. So I just have a
welcome.
question with, hello, madam. It's a very nice session. So, and then thanks for the lovely explanation what you've been giving. So my question is, again, nowadays, most of the career choices of the children is being more decided by the parents or by the peers, and then fashion technology is a little bit different when compared to the regular choices what people make. See, my question over here is that first thing is, how do they identify that they have a creativity for an art or basically for the fashion? Number two, but then how do they convince the parents that this is the field which I want to get into? So those are the two things. Is there any way you could look into basically personality profiling, or to understand they have very good creativity or something like that?
So what I feel is that about the part where how to identify if you have a flair for something. I think, for example, if you like clicking a lot of photos in your camera, I think that would mean that if you're given professional, if you're giving more training, you could be a photographer, not fashion photographer, but you could be that. Also, I think it's not something which children need to think. It should come from within. Like, for example, what do you do in your free time? What do you sketch? Do you click photos, or do you read, or do you write? If you write, and if you have an interest in fashion, you could probably become a blogger. So you need to think that way. I think the right way you can approach towards this is by taking a notebook, writing down all your strengths, what you like, and seeing if there is a profession for this, and if it fits within the fashion industry, all the opportunities which fashion industry provides, I think they can opt for it. There are many who don't know how to sketch, but but still want to be a designer. You can still be a designer. There are so many designers, like Marc Jacob doesn't know how to sketch that well, but he's very good in his concepts. Like, there was a video, another video I was seeing last night. That designer said that I don't need a sketch to convey to my consumers. My concepts and my ideas are more than enough to express what I want to. So I mean, not always does it happen that if you have a skill, you opt for it. Sometimes, even if you don't have a skill, you can opt for something if you like it. So skills can be developed, but your liking is more important. Liking has to come from within. Your interest has to come from within, because interest can't be enforced upon anybody. So that's what I would feel. And about the thing that about the question, if how people can convince their parents, I think the only way someone can convince their parents, of course, they want us to opt for something. They suggest us for our good only. That's true. That's a proven fact. But if we still feel that we have potential, and if we can make it big in this industry, if we can make a profession out of our passion, then I think they must work towards it, put extra the efforts, and make a mark in the industry and make their parents proud. That's the only way they can do it.
Thanks, Anu.
I hope it answers your question, sir.
Yeah, I agree. So once you get into it, then you could make them proud. My point is, how do I get and how do I convince? That's what I was just more looking into, that aspect of it. Because sometimes they have to get to that step of convincing the parents that this is the right thing for me to do, considering that I have this passion. That's where I think probably set of tools, something which can help them to determine this is where they wanted to go. Because sometimes until 12th, a lot of people are not very clear what the direction is going to be. Yeah, many people are clear and many people are not clear as well. So people who are not clear, but again who have creativity, I'm just trying to see if there's any tools, something to help them understand and then navigate through that.
Sorry
So
to
that's
interrupt you to
you're on mute, madam.
Ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am.
Ma'am, unmute yourself, ma'am. Can't hear you. You're not audible, ma'am. No.
Ma'am, I think your input volume became less, ma'am.
Looks like she's having an audio issue.
Something, yeah.
Any further questions?
So maybe I can try to answer the question what Subbu asked. See, only way is we need to be around with our child. Okay, in which area they are interested. Like Anu told, okay, if the particular person is really interested in photography, so we know very clearly, even the mobile, there are a lot of people are taking photographs and they post it on Instagram. Even mobile photography is a big business now. So like this, we can easily find out if they are not clear. And yeah, even otherwise, they can carry over them in their studies. And later, whenever they want, they can get into passion photography or whatever the passion they are looking in. For example, my passion is photography, but I started my wildlife and fashion photography only now, a year before. So age is not limit for anything, for any passion. So they can get into whatever they want at any point of time.
I guess once a child exhibits the talent or potential, in today's generation, at least, the parents are not obstructive to their ways. They're more open to push their children to what their talents are. So it's only a question of the children exhibiting their talents or showcasing their talents. And I'm sure the parents, majority of the parents are encouraging them to develop in that particular field. And I mean, a parent like me who has absolutely no clue on the current career opportunities would like to leave my kid the way she wants to explore or do, as long as she's good in that.
No worries, talking. Yeah. Thank you.
So I would like to add to that as well. If for example, if a child doesn't have any interest in a particular field and that child is made to do it, the child may or may not do well depending upon the potential of the child. But if a child is given the opportunity and also the full support from family to pursue whatever he or she wants, and I think they will do well. And that is the most, I think that's what every parent would want, for their child to be happy and to do well in the career they have chosen for themselves. So yeah, so I think trusting the child in terms of what they want to pursue is a very important factor.
Yeah, any other questions?
Hello, ma'am. This is Vaishnavi, again, a foundation program student from NIFT Chennai. So currently I've chosen the accessory design department. But apart from the fashion aspect of design, I've always been inspired by the technical aspect of it. So how do you think accessory design course into exploring the technical aspect of design? And do you think I can get into an industrial design program after this?
Vaishnavi, since I specialize in leather designing, I don't have in-depth knowledge about your course. But what I feel is that based on the course, the pattern and all the syllabus they have already set for the students, it's going to include your industrial exposure. It's going to include your lifestyle accessories, if I'm not wrong, lifestyle, as well as non-leather. Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
I was saying that yes, the accessory course in NIFT is based on the lifestyle accessories, non-leather lifestyle accessories, and you also have the interiors, which I don't have much knowledge about it. So what I would want to say is that you can learn, since you have a field in accessories and since you're interested in that, you can pursue with that. At the same time, if your interest lies a little bit outside from what the college is teaching you, then I think you can either attend an extra course after your college timings, or even use the internet. I think internet is a great source of learning these days, and has always been. So that can be done. And regarding the technical aspect, I don't have much knowledge about the accessory department, so I don't think I will be able to answer that. I'm so sorry.
No issues, ma'am. I got a clear idea of what you were trying to express, so that kind of cleared my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One last question to Ms. Anu Singh. Anybody? Okay, looks like we've come to the end. Madhavi ma'am, over to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for your lovely, wonderful guidance to our career for students, ma'am. Now I move on to Mrs. Kumuda with a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Madhavi. Thank you, Madhavi. I'm very delighted to extend my vote of thanks to all of you. I thank everyone who are all present here. You all made this event a grand success. I cordially render my sincere thanks to our parent club, Rotary Club of Roypeta, President Reggie Joe, other Rotarians and dignitaries. I thank our resource person, Anu Singh, leather designer and NIFT alumnus, who guided our interactors and paved a wonderful path for the future of our students. I thank our management, Suresh sir, Sashi ma'am, Surat sir, Sona ma'am, and our principal ma'am, Mrs. Bharati ma'am, staff, and our dear students. We are looking for more such wonderful events for our interactors. Once again, I thank everybody for all present here. Thank you.
One more person I would like to thank is Colonel Bhupinder Singh, dad of Ms. Anu Singh, who I know well. So thanks to him, because he was the one who coordinated every activity from the start to the finish. Kindly convey our gratitude, Anu.
I will, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I could change your mindset or change your perception about the fashion industry. And if you're interested in this field, you can get in touch with me. I will forward my number and my mail ID to you, sir. Anyone, if you have a doubt, you can also get in touch with me through Instagram, because that's the new in. So yes, I hope I answered your questions. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. I request you all to stand for the national anthem.